From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work. We will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you, God bless America, and more importantly, God bless our victims. Hey guys, we'll wait for a few people to get in. Hey guys, we're just going to go over a few cases because I have not seen you guys today. You'll never believe what happened. My BFF, you guys know I've been kind of stuck at the crib for a little bit, right? I've been stuck at the crib. My BFF came and scooped me today, and me and her went for a long walk on the beach, and then, you guys probably can't see this, hopefully I don't knock the camera over, but we went to a restaurant and got some risotto, some scallop risotto. I got out of the house, and then we went to, listen to this, we went to, I didn't really need this, but we went to Goodwill and I got this whole binder thing. I can always use these things, right? Like for all of our cases and stuff, and this is a brand new thing. $7.99 for all of that, right? So I got that. And you guys know I'm a latte person. I've been making my own lattes for a little minute. Well, guess what? While I was there, they had like a cappuccino machine, latte machine that Keurig has. $24. Now, I don't know if it works, and of course I'm going to have to clean the crap out of it because it's somebody else's, coffee maker. But maybe what's the worst thing? I mean, it's coffee. That's coffee, right? So I'm gonna clean it out with some white vinegar and get it all cleaned up and stuff like that. And I'm gonna make maybe a cappuccino. Maybe get away from the lattes. Maybe have something else. Maybe have a macchiato. I don't know. The world is my oyster. The world is my oyster. For those that don't know who I am, I'm Bullhorn Betty, and I love true crime, not because I think that these stories are juicy and things like that. They do perk my curiosity. It's because I like telling the stories, and I like seeing the bad guys go to jail. A lot of our stories, we don't know what happened. There isn't a bad guy, right? They're missing people. But before we get into our number one missing person, which is Sebastian Rogers, we're going to be talking about a few other stories in the news, major stories in the news. So guys, right now, this is a little concerning for me. This right here is an employee for, his name's S.Day Thompson, as you can see. And he is a flight attendant on an American Airlines. And he taped his phone to the restroom seats of the airline and was recording people. Girls, adults, And there's at least 5 victims. So just be careful, even on the airplanes. Ladies, we have to be cautious. There are sick you-know-whats everywhere we turn. We have to be vigilant out there. Yes, it's disgusting. And it's American Airlines to boot. Like, I'm out of airlines at this point. I don't like Delta. I think employees at Delta are entirely rude at times, right? Spirit, Frontier, forget it. That is like the bottom pits of, airlines. They treat you like crap. You pay through, by the time you pay all, for your take-on bag, your checked bag, your seat, your soda, your treat on the ride, you've already paid for a decent airline on like an American Airline or United. But I've got a Southwest. Well, see, the problem is Southwest broke my computer and they never paid me for it. Even though I filled out the insurance stuff, and they did. I mean, my computer was literally 6 months old, brand freaking new. Just had it. Might even have been less than 6 months old. Totally crushed the whole side of it. When we came back from Kylan Schulte and Crystal Turner in Moab, Utah, we went out there to cover that case and to follow the last steps of Gabby Petito. And on the way back, Southwest, kind of sucked. It kind of sucked. I mean, but to be honest with you, Southwest was really outside of that one oversight, which was a very expensive one. It wasn't, to be honest with you, they were probably the nicest that I've been on, Southwest. But it was a lot of hoops to get where we needed to go. But we all got out there. Just be cognizant, people. Just be cognizant, because we do have bad actors, even flight attendants. And this is what I found out through this article, that I did not realize this. You are required. I know, but they made me check my bag. That was the problem. It was one of those things where they just, you didn't have a choice. It was one of those situations. I always bring my computer. I never check my computer. Ever. I just don't. But I had to that time, and it came back crushed. But here's the thing I didn't realize until I read this story. We all know that TSA and, of course, the employees and flight attendants, of course, we can't be abusive to them. I didn't know that it is a federal crime not to follow their instruction. And I'm thinking, whoa, a federal crime, and you got people like this taping stuff to toilets? Yeah, kind of got a problem with that. Just say it. All right, so that's the voyeurism. Oh, FBI raids a Mississippi prosecutor's office. This right here is going on, and nobody really knows why. This Mississippi prosecutor, his name's Jody Owens. It's kind of hard, but they also raided another business that he was associated with, a cigar bar, if you will. And I believe that cigar bar, and the way that they went into and its raid, they didn't execute a search warrant. The Bullhorn Betty is also national. Thank you. And so they raided this house, and this raid was not an execution of a search warrant. Otherwise, they would have said they went in there to execute a search warrant. This said raid. This implied breach, right? When you hear raid, you're talking about people coming down from, like Black Ops stuff falling through. You know what I'm saying? So they had a raid. They had a raid at the prosecutor's office. I think they even had one at his home, and they had one at the cigar bar that he so-called manages or something like that. When I start hearing this stuff, I sniff corruption. I sniff corruption or embezzlement or some type of, white-collar crime when I start hearing stuff like this going on. So I'll monitor this situation. I don't really know what truly, in fact, is going on here. This is very tight-lipped by the FBI. The prosecutor's office only simply states that they are cooperating in any and all investigations from the FBI and other law enforcement. And other than that, the prosecutor's office has made no other comments to the best of my knowledge. And lastly, before we get started, hold on here. Where is he? Oh, thank you, Deborah. This guy right here is Jim Chambers. Jim Chambers is wanted on first degree homicide, and he is on the loose and on the run in Tennessee. So this is what brought this case to my attention, because we have a lot of eyes and ears out there in Tennessee, and this man here is on the run. I just wanted to read a little bit about Jim Chamber to you guys, so you guys got an understanding of why he is on the list. He has just been put on TBI's 10 Most Wanted. Yes, in Tennessee. That is correct. This is in Tennessee. So he has been arrested in the past for, let me just move this down. He has been arrested in the past for, the M-E word, T-H, like math, but with an E. Charges and stuff of that nature. So not a good guy, probably uses substances or overutilizes substances. Suspect Jim Chambers is still at large after Carter County Sheriff's Office spent the day following up on tips throughout the county. Chambers faces charges of first-degree unaliving, abuse of remains, and tampering of evidence in connection to an unaliving of Edward Elliott. Elliott was last seen by families. It goes on to explain that there was a dispute. One gentleman is behind bars right now. That gentleman's name is Joe Gwynn, and he is currently behind bars. But this man here, Chambers, is on the run right now. He is armed and dangerous. If you see him, you are asked to call law enforcement immediately. You are not to approach him. Do not approach. If you guys see a missing person and you want to ask them what time it is and what the weather is, by all means, take a look. But if you think you see this man here, I do not want you to approach him. I want you to get into a safe place and call 911 and let them know that you have seen him. You do not need to become a victim of his. This man has nothing to lose. He's on the TBI Most Wanted. We have no idea where he is. He could be in any state adjoining or bordering Tennessee. So if you see him, again, look at his eyes, his nose, and his mouth. His hair color may be different. His hair style may be different. He may be starting to grow facial hair. So be sure to look at his eyes, the crease in his forehead. These are things that don't go away. These are obvious features that do not go away. The dimple in his chin, the double chin. But again, that could be all hidden by facial hair. So if you guys see him, you're asked to call law enforcement immediately. And of course, we are going to be getting into the topic of Sebastian Rogers. Sebastian Rogers is the 15-year-old autistic boy that disappeared from his home in Hendersonville, Tennessee. He has not been heard or seen from since he walked out of his home, allegedly, and that is by assumption. His mom did not see him walk out the door. There is no evidence that this child walked out the door. According to the mother, she put him to bed at 9 o'clock, and when she woke up at 6 o'clock, he was gone, and there was no signs of foul play or forced entry into the home. That would be a plausible and believable story for me personally if we didn't have CPS involved in this case, and if we didn't have CPS involved in this case so recently. We also have a lot of family dynamic issues. For example, Chris had approached Seth to take Sebastian full-time. Now, we have to remember that Chris and Katie have a lot more ability to take care of Sebastian. And I'm not saying anything about Seth's financial ability. I absolutely believe Seth could take care of his son. I'm just saying that they had a lot, two people making the good money that they were versus Seth, which is one person working and having now to raise his son. I kept wondering if maybe Chris and Katie were concerned that Seth would then go after them for child support or something like that. So I don't know. There's a lot of hypotheticals when it comes to this case. We could hypothetical, literally this case to death. But at the end of the day, this child is missing. He's been missing for a significant amount of time. He went missing from his home. The behavior from the parents are odd to me. But other than that, there really is no evidence saying one way or another, which by design, I feel like that is the evidence, because there literally is no evidence, and there's no way that this autistic boy could possibly be that good. Okay, he doesn't think the way the rest of us do. He wouldn't be trying to hide his DNA. He wouldn't be trying to hide his scent. He wouldn't be trying to cover up his path. That's something that normal people would be thinking about, but not somebody that's never ran away before and never been without mommy and daddy. So we still don't know where he is, but if anybody has seen Chris Proudfoot or Katie Proudfoot in the days leading up to or days after Sebastian's disappearance, you are asked to call 1-800-TBI and let them know what you saw or what you heard. If anybody hears of this case, if you've seen this boy or his parents anywhere, it's time for you to pick up the phone. Even if you don't think it's important, you never know. You truly, truly never know. I'm not going to be staying on here too long. I still want to finish eating. I'm kind of just getting back from having a fairly eventful day with my best friend. It was nice to get out of the house. You know, it's been a while. So I just want to kind of clean up and get ready and get some things put away from earlier and get my new little latte machine. I swore I was never going to get one. But how can I pass it up for $25, okay? I'm sorry. It was calling Bullhorn Betty's name. It just was calling my name. It was calling my name. I'm telling you, it was calling my name. Oh, and look what else I found. Somebody else posted this. Aw. Right? So we get to, every time I kind of get a new photo of him, I like to, you know, post it. I just want people to, you know, look at Sebastian. I want everyone to love this boy. I really do. I just want everybody to love him and understand what this is truly about, you know. He's missing. God knows where he is, you know. And it breaks my heart to think that his family could have done something horrific to him, but there's just an uneasy feeling in the pit of my stomach that his family did something horrific to him. And Katie does not come from a background that's very, you know, warm and fuzzy. It gives me a lot of concern. It gives me a lot of concern. Both their histories give me a lot of concern. But we don't really have a whole lot of new information, you know. I know that there's a lot of people being super, super mean. I wish everybody would still, you know, and I'm going to keep hitting the drum beat, and hopefully more people understand, you know, this is really what it's about. And I hope people stop, you know, trying to change the narrative or, you know, drive a narrative that isn't there. And let's get focused back on what's important, him and where he could be. There is a 17-hour window that we need to find, at least at minimum 7 to 10 hours that we need to close. We need all hands on deck here to help, you know, put their brains. Where do you think that would a good place? I mean, we have to think Chris started at the house and ended at the house 17 hours later. Where could he have possibly have been? We have great people that have mathematical brains on here that can give us some idea of where would be a great location to start looking. Because, I mean, think about it. No matter where he would, it would have had to been a halfway point. So if we have 7 hours, we think of it like this. It's more in line of 3.5 hours away from a certain point. What certain point? Is it from his house or from the Yogi Bear campground? You know, there's people that have these gifts that have, you know, that can evaluate these and give us statistics and point us in perfect, you know, better direction. So I'm hoping that some people start stepping up to the plate and putting these mathematical skills to the test. So we CP 3.5 hours, 3 hours and 37 minutes away. Exactly. So start trying to take some, maybe use some mathematical skills to help problem solve, to identify possible areas that we can search. Because it's all about really reducing the areas that we have to search. And if we can find maybe some possible places that would really be beneficial. So if you guys think of anything, a place that you guys would like to go, a place that you think we need to search, a place that I can hand, I'm not right there right now, but we do have people out there. If there's somebody I can say, hey, can we go check out this spot? What spot is it for you? For the people out there in this area, you guys know this area better than anybody. You guys know the path of travel that Chris took. You guys know the path of travel that Katie would have taken to go over to her mother-in-law's house. You guys know these woods and these roads better than somebody sitting in Florida. Put your heads together and start thinking, where are places Chris could go and be secluded? We need to find those places. And we need to start looking in those places. We need to look for, disturbed earth. Where's ponds? Is there any ponds that have a bridge that goes over it, that they drive over, that's in a desolate area? You see what I'm saying? Like, start getting those things. We need to start getting some ideas. So if you guys if you guys are thinking of those places, please send them over to bullhornbetty@gmail.com, bullhornbetty@gmail.com. So just to kind of recap, we have Alec Murdaugh. Alec Murdaugh had his first jailhouse fight. He had his first jailhouse fight. And then, of course, we have the voyeurism case. The voyeurism case of the man that's taping cell phones to the American airline restrooms and recording people, young girls, everything. And then, of course, we have District Attorney Jody Owens. His office and his cigar bar were raided. I believe even his home may have been raided by the FBI. And everybody is really tight-lipped as to why. But I'm telling you, this is a Mississippi, and I really feel it's corruption related. It's embezzlement. It feels like it's something. It's something along those lines, unsavory stuff. I don't think it has to do with his job, so to speak. It might, corruption-wise, it might have a hand in it, but I don't think that it has to do with him throwing, a case or anything like that. We're pressing the issue with law enforcement right now to start working with Seth, working with team, and start filling them in on some of the gaps that they're missing. And hopefully law enforcement starts letting the public as well as the family know what's going on in this case, just to start settling some people's minds, bodies, and souls down. I feel like Chris is winning this one. I feel like Chris and Katie did a good job at hiding their son, and because of that, we will never get justice. But I don't know, because law enforcement is ghosting us in the case. And many people, for whatever reason, think that Seth owes us a duty to answer to the people, but law enforcement does not. And that's just a little insane to me. Just saying. So that's the round out, and I just want to remind you guys, Jim Chambers on the run. He is TBI most wanted, one of the 10 most wanted right now. We need to get him off the streets before he hurts anybody else. He's a man that has nothing to lose. And we also have Layla Santinello. Here's our round out of cases in Tennessee that have gone unsolved and have gone cold. Layla Santinello, Summer Wells, Holland Snap, and Sebastian Rogers. So we've got a lot of cases in Tennessee, a lot of pain in Tennessee, and so far no answers and no closed cases. All right, guys, you guys have a great Thursday. I'm sure I'll be back. It's already 1, so I'll be back by evening. Let me get caught up on the day since I was gone for so many hours, and we'll have another lineup and another show of, what other cases are going on, including if there are any new updates in the Sebastian Rogers. This is what kind of I anticipate to happen. I anticipate that this is obviously going cold, and this is going to start, I feel like we need to have a big push in this case, in the Sebastian Rogers case. I think we need to keep it front and center, because if we don't, I just feel like Chris and Katie won. And this boy deserves better. He deserved better. His life does matter. And we have to, they say the FBI, the only way the FBI can jump in, you guys got to understand this, there's no jurisdiction. How jurisdiction works is, you know, the FBI, if they handle the investigation, that means that they have to be able to bring federal charges. There's no federal charges here the way it sits right now. Now, what would help make it a federal chargeable case? So, for example, if they can prove that Sebastian was in Tennessee and was taken across state lines, like say to Mississippi, and you know, we talked about the camper, right? If he special needs, yeah, I thought you were right. Yes, special needs lives matter too. Thank you, Val. I thought you were saying special needs, and I'm like, that does not help with the FBI. But if they're on federal land, now that would help too. So they have to either prove that something happened to Sebastian on federal land or he was taken across state lines, which right now there's no evidence of either of those things happening. And lacking of those, there is no possibility of the FBI taking this case. And I think I've said it even here on TikTok several times, like their highest that they're going to be able to go, the way the case sits right now, is TBI. But, you know, TBI running the investigation versus Sumner County running the investigation, quite frankly, it might be all the difference in the world. You know, I really don't know. Obviously, Seth just wants a new set of eyes. He just wants somebody to give him a second opinion, and they're failing to do that. And I kind of understand his frustration because he feels like he's hitting a wall. They're not telling him anything. Chris is out there saying that this is just another missing person case. Luckily and greatly that he, you know, it's with great news, and it's the best news ever that he didn't leave a stitch of evidence behind. It was sickening and appalling to me, but you know, it is what it is. We just need to find Sebastian so whatever happened to him can be brought to light and the unknown will be known. And I truly just want that. If anything can happen, that's truly what I want to happen. So I'll keep you guys posted on any changes related to this case. But until then, if you guys see Sebastian Rogers, he's the 15-year-old autistic boy that went missing from his home in Hendersonville, Tennessee. He's 5'5", anywhere between 110 and 120 pounds. As you see, he's got blonde hair and I believe brown eyes. And he's been missing for a significant amount of time. If you have any information, you are asked to call 1-800-TBI-FINE. All right, guys, you take care. Until next time, we'll be back. We'll be back soon.